Live from downtown Detroit, Local 4 News at noon starts now.
President Obama embarked on the final international trip of his presidency, taking time to talk about the election.
There is this mismatch, I think, between frustration and anger. Perhaps the view of the American people was that just need to shake things up.
How he is seeking to reassure anxious European allies that the United States will continue its bipartisan commitment to the North Atlantic Alliance. Plus, fire hazard as Mazda is recalling thousands of its cars. We'll tell you how you could be impacted. And a break-in and robbery at the Capuchin Soup Kitchen here in Detroit. We'll tell you what they took and why those there are so frustrated. But first, we start at noon with breaking news that we're falling out of Utah. That's where 5 students have been stabbed at a high school. Police saying that this attack happened around 8 o'clock this morning. We're told that a 16-year-old boy, 16 years old, stabbed 5 students at Orem High School. That school being temporarily put on lockdown while emergency crews responded to the situation. That 16-year-old is now in custody. The 5 victims' condition ranges from fair to critical. Back here at home now, a break-in and robbery at the Capuchin Soup Kitchen right there on Connor on Detroit's east side. You're looking now at video from the scene earlier today. We know that break-ins happen. Unfortunately, that is the reality. But those who have fallen on hard times and depend on this type of place, they're disgusted. Local 4's Nick Monticelli is joining us now with more on this developing story. I think everyone is wondering if there are at least any suspects in mind, Nick.
You know, Everett, good afternoon. Not as of right now, but I think that's going to change, especially because they've got some brand new security cameras here at the soup kitchen that did some great job and got some great surveillance video. This is how it happened. Whoever broke in here broke in a couple of different places. The first through a window, opening this door from the inside and getting in. Another one was this guard shack over there where they just stole a space heater. And the third door was on the other side of the building. That is how they got into a computer lab, stealing 3 computers from children.
Hey, good morning.
For decades, the Capuchin Soup Kitchen in Detroit has been a place for those in need to get what they need.
Well, why break in here? That's the thing.
Alexis Williams has been coming here almost every day for more than 20 years. And the thought that someone would steal from a place like this disturbs her.
It's just petty. It's just wrong. Whoever did it comes here and eat also. You know what I'm saying? And tomorrow, you're going to be hungry. You're going to be hungry tomorrow, wishing you never did what you did.
The break-in was sometime overnight. 3 computers were stolen, as well as a space heater from the guard shack outside.
It is very demoralizing, but we're up and open this morning. We plan to be here.
Brother Jerry Smith admits this is not the first break-in, but every one hurts.
To me, it's a reflection on our society and our world that people are so desperately poor that they would burglarize a place that hopefully is trying to be supportive of the community.
What's also frustrating is that the damage to the building, the windows, the door, the security door on the other side of the building, the guard shack window and door, all of that damage will likely cost more than the computers that were stolen. Speaking of those computers, as we said, they came from a children's computer lab. We'll talk more about what the kids do on them and how they're going to have a difficult time ahead because of it. So that's on Local 4 at 5. We're live here on Detroit's east side. Nick Monticelli, Local 4.
All right, Nick, thank you for the update there. Former Michigan State and NBA basketball star Mateen Cleaves will soon learn if he will stand trial on rape charges. His preliminary exam was today, and right now he's accused of sexually assaulting a 24-year-old woman following a golf outing back in September. Today, a gas station attendant who saw Cleaves and his accuser around the time of the alleged assault took the stand, and he said that the woman did not appear to be in distress. Listen.
There was nothing that she said when she was asking about the phone, I need this phone right now.
No, it wasn't presented to me as an emergency, no.
Now, this hearing will continue for the next 2 days. Of course, we'll keep you updated as we get new developments. Flint Mayor Karen Weaver now saying today that her city still needs help with its water crisis. Flint's water still not safe to drink without a filter. Mayor Weaver has now signed an emergency declaration to renew Flint's state of emergency. The first declaration that she signed last year was set to expire on Monday. Weaver is calling on Flint City Council to support the renewal until that water is safe to drink. And now we have Help Me Hank recall alert for you today as Mazda recalling nearly 70,000 of its cars. This recall covers 2004 through 2008 RX-8s. Mazda saying that those cars have fuel pump rings that can crack when exposed to exhaust heat and potentially cause a fire. Now, while no injuries or fires have been reported, Mazda says dealers will replace the sealing rings when those parts become available. Owners are then going to be notified when they're ready. President Obama is in Greece on the first stop on the final international trip of his presidency. And from Greece, the president will then travel to Germany and Peru. In Athens this morning, the president admitted he was surprised by the election of Donald Trump as president. And he said that he believes the president-elect will continue to support America's strategic global relationships. But he admitted he can't really speak for Trump.
I still don't feel responsible for what the president-elect says or does. But I do feel a responsibility as President of the United States to make sure that I facilitate a good transition.
Now, the president said the American election should convince world leaders to pay attention to the fears many people have over economic inequality and dislocations brought on by a global economy. And from the current president, we move on to the president-elect as Donald Trump continues to build his cabinet. And right now, the process is a bit on a standstill as Vice President-elect Mike Pence takes over as transition team lead. Pence took the lead after Trump removed New Jersey Governor Chris Christie on Friday. Today, former Michigan Congressman Mike Rogers also announced that he would be leaving the team. Despite the changes, Trump and Pence will meet still today to try and get this election process moving. Meanwhile, Mexico is preparing a plan to deal with possible mass deportations under Trump's presidency. It was on Monday. A spokesman for Mexico's president said deportation would be at the forefront of conversations between the president of Mexico and Trump. Trump has previously stated his plan to deport up to 3 million illegal immigrants. Mexico, however, hopes to learn how many might be headed their way. And reports of post-election bullying and intimidation have been reported all across Michigan over the last week. The latest incident happening near the University of Michigan in Ann Arbor. There was a student there who was pushed down a hill by two men who police say yelled at her about being in America. Now, other students are speaking out about this.
I guess I'm really confused because it's like a college campus, so you think that like freedom of ideas, freedom of identity, really. If you vote for Trump, whatever, but I didn't expect so many people to feel empowered by the election to like hurt other people.
Well, the state superintendent of the schools says that the continued harassment and bullying will not be tolerated. And around the country now, protests continue against the election of Donald Trump as president. Let's take a look. You're looking at the latest protests from Florida, Arizona, and Oregon right there all across your screen.
No Trump, no KKK, no fascist USA.
This is at the University of Florida, where Trump supporters and protesters met for a spirited but peaceful discussion right there on the university campus plaza. Meanwhile, in Arizona, dozens of people gathered at the University of Arizona to protest. The large group held up signs and chanted anti-Trump slogans during their day-long demonstration. And in Oregon now, hundreds of middle and high schoolers cut class to take part in a massive protest that blocked roads throughout the city of Portland. Switching gears now and talking about the forecast as we get closer and closer to the Thanksgiving holiday. Brandon, a lot of people wondering if we're going to get snow sometime between now and then.
Yeah, and it's a very good possibility this weekend. I'm not saying we're going to get a ton of it, but there's a big change coming at the wrong time. In the meantime, let us enjoy the beauty of the rest of this week. 53 is the number at Metro Airport, 55 in Pontiac, Double Nichols, also down in Monroe, 54 over in Ann Arbor, 55 Howell, 56 Lapeer. We're looking really good. Temperatures are a good 5-6 degrees warmer than where we were this time yesterday. That's a great sign. And through the rest of your day today, getting into those middle and upper 50s. Wouldn't be surprised if we get a 60 or 2. But we do have even warming temperatures before the big change this weekend. We'll have that coming up. In the meantime, you can stay ahead of the game. Always get your forecast personalized to your neighborhood. It's our 4-zone weather on the Weather tab. Click on Detroit.com.
Alrighty, Brandon, thank you. Still ahead right here on Local 4 News at noon. New information about music icon Prince and his estate. We'll tell you which streaming service says they have the exclusive rights to play all of his music. But first, the new numbers involving Americans who pled guilty to crimes that they never even committed, and what experts are saying about the concurring trend in U.S. courts.
There's a man whose life was so extraordinary and so exemplary. And that life even continued as he gave of himself after his death. And today, his widow is being honored in a most incredible way. And we're there for the big surprise. I'll see you today at 4. On First at 4.
And let's continue to keep you updated on our big breaking story. Breaking news out of Utah, where 5 students have been stabbed at a high school, with the victims all being transported to a hospital. Their conditions range from fair to critical. We do know that a 16-year-old suspect is in custody. Of course, we'll keep you updated throughout this newscast. Welcome back, everybody. We are following a developing story from Detroit's east side, where police are trying to figure out who shot and killed a man outside of his home. Take a look at the scene from earlier this morning, right at Grubner and Park Grove Street near 7 Mile. Police there saying that the victim's wife came home. Actually, she heard her husband come home, and then she heard gunshots and later found him dead in the driveway. We have learned that one person is in custody as police continue to investigate. And a new study shows the shocking number of people who pled guilty to crimes but were later cleared of all the charges. More than 300 or more than the more than 1,900 people exonerated in the U.S. since 1989 took plea deals. Last year, close to 68 of the 157 exonerations were cases in which the defendant took a plea deal. Experts say the defendants are many times encouraged to take the deals by the courts to avoid a longer sentence, and that these bargains save the court and prosecutors time and money. Jay-Z's streaming service Tidal is now trying to stake a claim to Prince's music. The parent company of Tidal Music has filed court documents claiming exclusive streaming rights to all of Prince's music. They say Prince and Tidal made an agreement before he passed away. And along with streaming rights, Tidal is hoping for exclusive rights to Prince's 2 unreleased albums. Prince's estate has not publicly commented on this whole deal. Well, today, the Parade Company and Skillman Foundation finally announced the winner of the 25th annual Float Design Contest, as they do every year, for America's Thanksgiving Day Parade. And it was 5th grader Miley Scott who won for her design of Make Detroit Colorful. Scott is a student at the Duke Ellington Conservatory of Music and Arts and Beckham Academy, and she is going to lead her float down Woodward Avenue on Thanksgiving morning. It's kind of hard to believe that it is just over a week away, so we're definitely looking forward to seeing that float. So to come here at noon, from the West Coast to the East to even here in Detroit. Coming up for Tasty Tuesday, the new Mexican restaurant that just hit Woodward Avenue, creating a lot of buzz with their burritos, Brandon.
Yeah, they are award-winning burritos. We'll have that. We'll take a look at the rest of the week, which has temperatures building up, and then down we go for the weekend, including the chance for some weekend snowflakes next.
He wears a constant smile despite an incredibly rare disease. Allergic reactions make it so 16-month-old Elliot Carter cannot eat. Not cereal, not fruit, not a hot dog, absolutely nothing.
It's heartbreaking. It's really, we feed our kid ice cubes is what the reality of it is, as a snack, as a treat.
And Elliot is not growing as he should.
The stress is insurmountable, but we do what we can do every day. That's all we can do.
It's a slow race against the clock. Can doctors find some way to feed Elliot? I'm Nick Monticelli. Tonight on Local 4 News at 11, Elliot Carter's story and how his parents are searching for something to keep their son alive.
Well, good Tuesday afternoon, everybody. We are enjoying a really nice run here. So it's middle November. Let's not be completely fooled by the weather when you're hearing Christmas songs on the radio in every store you go into. It's normal for this time of year. The weather, however, not so much. Middle 50s everywhere. Howells at 56, Port Huron and Monroe 55, 53 out at Metro Airport. On our way to about 57 on average. Could be a couple of areas hitting 60 degrees with sun and a little bit of high cloud cover. Not a big deal. Clouds will be on the increase overnight, and toward 5, 6 o'clock in the morning, isolated light shower chance. Very isolated, mainly in our north zone. Maybe not exclusively there. There's a little bit of moisture showing up in the UP. Not a big deal here. A little weak cold front number 1 and number 2 is back out here. So we're tracking a system not even really getting going yet, but it is coming our way as we head into Saturday. And this one coming from a cold source in the Gulf of Alaska. And it brings big changes by the beginning of the weekend. A lot to cover before we get there, though. We've got, again, an increase in clouds, probably sometime around sunset, 5:30, something like that, into the overnight hours, and just a couple of little splash and dashers as we head through the early morning hours, and then could be a little while before we get back into the sunshine tomorrow. 57 or so again on Wednesday. Thursday and Friday, we're into the 60s, near record high on your Friday, but a very quick ending to that. Again, on Saturday, it's 40s with winds gusting and showers. It could be a couple of wet snowflakes, especially Saturday evening and into Sunday morning. Not looking at anything accumulating. A little bit too warm for that. Well, this is one of Evrod's favorite Detroit dining spots, and it's a place that is winning awards for their burritos in New York City. But now they're here in Detroit, and the owner says he's trying to fit your needs. Calexico is a New York City-based restaurant, food truck force that's all over the map. The menu is way out west.
Describe it as California Mexican, but with an edge.
Food and drinks taken up a notch, or dos.
You're not just an average margarita, you can get your jalapeno mint margarita.
From the award-winning burritos and carne fries, owner Randy Dickow saw a void in this kind of fun, casual, Calexican food downtown Detroit and wanted all in on the city's renaissance.
The energy that they have today as opposed to 7 or 8 years ago, the excitement, the pride in what's going on down here.
A spin in a playoff of Mexican street food, the char grill.
Asada, as in carne asada, translates to roasted or charred. The kitchen at Calexico is chopping fresh ingredients.
House-made pico, which is made fresh every single day.
Charring, roasting tacos, fajitas, salads, and burritos in bowls or hand-rolled.
The carne asada burrito. Another thing is our carne fries.
It's our normal burrito, and what we do is we top it with our house red enchilada sauce, and we melt cheese and finish it with some crema.
Hundreds of those wet burritos fly from the window daily. The beans soak for days. The chipotle crack sauce is addicting. And Calexico tortillas are huge to take on a hard char and take in more flavor for the people pouring into downtown for lunch, date nights, or enjoying the inviting atmosphere in this California Mexican joint right in the heart of the D.
A spot for people that live downtown, a place that they can go to multiple times a week to grab a couple tacos and a beer.
Well, you definitely want to head there today. Calexico offering 20% off your entrees today, but you have to mention Tasty Tuesday, located right on Woodward in Campus Martius, downtown Detroit.
They have fantastic food. Still to come, it's the world's saddest polar bear that's getting good news. We'll tell you what his owners are doing that's about to change his entire life. Replay song. All right, so finally, you might have heard about the saddest polar bear in the world.
The bear has been living in an aquarium in a shopping mall in China.
But there's encouraging new news for the bear named Pizza. The mall is renovating the enclosure where Pizza, the bear, has been living, and he's going to be relocated to an ocean park. How cool is that? Have a great day, everybody. We'll see you tomorrow.